welcome to the on Wax. G'day everybody and welcome to another episode of Rainbows on Wax. I'm Alex.
And I'm Steve.
This is episode 19, 20?
20.
We're one episode away from the crazy 21st birthday of Rainbows on Wax. It's going to be a wild party.
It's going to be huge.
There'll be cake. There'll be
lit
streamers. We should do
maybe,
some streamers.
Maybe a streamer.
Hang up some things, like some dangly things.
Maybe like
party
chrome hats. Happy birthday sign or something.
Poppers.
Yeah.
Party poppers. We can make a real messy studio here. Clean up afterwards.
Yep.
Fun. I hope everyone's like really enjoyed things that we've spoken about. We'll save all the reminiscing for episode 21.
Yeah.
But it's been so good to be able to talk to everyone. One thing that we have touched on probably in like a lot of episodes, but kind of not really done one particular episode on is branding. Branding covers like there's so many things that are in branding.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the first thing that comes to my mind actually is like the band name.
Band name,
like, or an artist name, you know,
yeah.
Like even if you're an artist and you don't want to use your real name, or if you're a band, obviously you've got to pick a band name, and it's one of the funnest parts of being a band, you know, is like sick. We're like
that's the first argument you're going to have as a band.
Yeah. I think a lot of band names like either like come really naturally and really easy, it's super obvious, or it's something that like you dwell on and think about for a long time. One of my first band actually, I joined this band that I'm trying to think back. It was like this emo band I was in Townsville. And it was called Post Affection. One of the younger guys, I believe it was Adam, I think, in the band, who came up with the name, and I think it was from a song. I feel like we were called like Return to Sender before then, and then it's like did the old classic like break up and reform without somebody, change the name, and then we did that again. We did the break up, reform, and Kushla came up with the name Moore's Murders. And I was like, yeah, cool, Moore's Murders, sick, let's run it. It was actually quite a controversial name.
Mm-hmm.
For one, I didn't realize like it was an actual thing at the time.
Right. Okay.
Like it was like these kind of like...
It was like an actual serial killer.
Yeah. It was like a couple like who would like kind of take children and murder them and stuff.
What the fuck?
Yeah. I had no idea.
That was your band name, bro?
Yeah. Well, he probably got it from like other band names like the Children of Bodom.
Yeah, true.
You know, like there is plenty of metal bands out there that kind of use controversial like stories of the past.
Mm-hmm.
Like isn't Marilyn Manson like a mixture of like Charles Manson and
Marilyn Monroe?
Yeah. So, but yeah, I remember there being this article in the newspaper that was like, you should not be giving this band like any free advertising because they're like promoting this like, you know, horrific story. And it was a horrific story. But then I remember my mom kind of wrote back in and was like, hey, like, you know, these are just kids basically. We were like 16. And it ended up being this like full double page spread in the Townsville Bulletin of like all of the letters supporting us and all of them against us.
Dude, have you still got that cut out?
No.
Man, that would have been the most ultimate bit of history.
Yeah, totally. It'd be awesome. But yeah, a controversial name can do those things. Like it got us like articles like every week in the Townsville Bulletin. Obviously there was some journalist there who was just keen to like, you know, stir the pot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if you are like Bud Rakeski, who I work with, his actual name is Alex Geit, you know, and he uses his grandfather's name.
Yeah, right.
I guess as a part of the branding, you know.
Yep.
It's sort of, I know a lot of bands have changed names. There's a lot of those where you see like, oh, the original name of, wasn't the Beatles, they were something else. I'm thinking of the Wiggles, actually. They were like the Cockroaches before they changed to like a children's band.
Right.
I think they were called the Cockroaches, and I know Led Zeppelin had another name. Yeah, plenty of bands had different names to start with, and we're like, oh, this isn't working for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Could be.
Sometimes it's that refresher, shed your skin, and go again.
Yeah.
Try again.
That's right. It's it is a tricky thing to really nail down.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, such a fun thing, awesome thing, and it's where it all starts. You need to figure out that band name or that artist name. It's super important.
Yes. And then start living it, living by it, representing it, wearing it.
Well, that's the next step.
Coloring
right?
it.
Is like you're telling people about it. So if you're just a band, and again, like, you can grow into your band name and people can become aware of it. But if it's something really complicated, people might be like, what? Like, oh, we're called, I don't know, can't think of a complicated name right now, but
King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
I guess if people are like, oh, maybe it is like employee. What is that? You got to say it again, and like then they kind of get it. It sticks.
Something like that can roll off the tongue quite well.
Yeah, yeah.
The Pixies, like that's just
so many cool names.
So good.
But again, you want something that is a bit memorable. Yeah. That people are like interested in, fascinated by. Yeah. Because when you're just starting, like you probably don't have like a website or a Spotify or anything for business card, even T-shirts. It's where it all kind of goes to. So you're just telling people about it and talking about it. So you want it to be something that's either memorable or easy or cool or funny or whatever your vibe is. Something that's clear, I guess, as well, if that's your vibe. Because then that band name, artist name, sort of leads into everything else.
Yeah, and visualization and culmination of many different things.
Yeah.
Like
font,
logo.
As we know, so many metal bands have the crazy barbed wire font. You can barely see what's going on. Yeah. But it's totally their vibe and their thing, and people love it. Yeah. All the way to just, picking the right font, working with an artist, working with somebody, sometimes just drawing it yourself.
I also like I think I like the band name and how it can encapsulize, or your artist name, how it can really cover all aspects of what you do, but not necessarily a logo for me. Like, I understand with the metal genres and stuff, like everyone wanted that tattoo representation.
You mean like Chili Peppers have a
star
thing.
But, or AC/DC have their lightning bolt, whatever.
True. Yeah.
But it's also like, I like shit that can be manipulated in many different ways. It can be seen in many different ways. Yeah. And that's kind of how I look at Stonewax a little bit. Yep. It's like, it's a malleable thing. Yeah. Doesn't have to mean anything. It can be many different things. You know? Which is, I didn't want to back myself into a corner. And
just be kind of like, this is my font that I always use.
Yeah, no.
This is like,
I'm too short attention span for that.
Yeah, like, I got a new vibe going this week. We're gonna mix it up. And
like, I might have a blonde, green hairdo on the 21st birthday episode. Who knows?
And I think too, like, like, it's definitely something to think about. Like, whether or not the band name becomes like so big that it doesn't matter anymore. What font that you're using, people just go, that's the name. That's cool. I think using like regular fonts can sometimes be not the right vibe. Like, I reckon sometimes just like drawing out the name can be like a really simple, easy way of like whatever your handwriting is can be a really cool way. Or if you're if it's like your actual name, like, you can go online and like see people doing cool signatures, like learn to kind of do like a sweet signature. That can be like a really great, easy way of like, putting your name to a brand. Yep. If it is something that becomes super recognizable though, like, and you have found a font and that becomes a part of your brand image, that's cool too. If you're like, we've always used this one font,
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Because you might do other stuff around it.
Yeah. There's no one shoe fits all.
No, it's definitely dependent on the style of music,
Yeah.
your audience, what they're liking.
Also, where like your brand can be the way you look as a human, like
that's
your personal brand, your face, whether you wear glasses, whether you have a mullet, whether you have a mustache, whether you rock suits all the time, like CW Stone King.
Yeah.
Every single day is CW Stone King.
Yeah. He's looking awesome.
He looks like he's from the 1950s. He's got his hair all slicked.
Yeah.
He looks the same every single day,
Nick Cave's another one.
Nick Cave.
He's always in the suit.
Yeah.
I think he talks about that too. He's like, he's going to work.
Yeah.
So he puts on his suit like anyone else going to work, and it's totally like a signature move.
Yeah.
Not to say it's like just him. Plenty of artists out there wear suits. All the way to the other side, the flip side, which is the normcore.
Yeah.
Where you're dressing in, thrift shop clothing, and it's random and
polo tee, like
that's a big
Canterbury vibes.
Canterbury's Lacoste is that new
Lacoste,
one? Yeah. I actually tried some Lacoste shorts on the other day. I was like, I need some more shorts.
How'd they look?
Awesome, but they were half price and $100.
Wow.
I was like, this is an expensive brand. I had no idea.
Okay.
There is like comfy kind of like tracksuit shorts things. But I realized, a lot of like that hip hop crowd have kind of gone from, what was it before?
Supreme.
Tommy Hilfiger,
Supreme.
Yeah.
What else was there?
Now Lacoste is like, I guess, like a brand that they're all kind of wanting to wear. Because I saw polo shirts today, actually, like $200. I was like, wow, I didn't realize.
You can tell, like, here's another brand, Tyler the Creator.
Yeah.
Right? He's pulled inspiration from that.
Yeah.
He's got golf now, which is like, it's like lavish kind of resort wear.
His 5-panel hats, I feel like he was a big... Like, I'm sure 5-panel hats have been around for ages, but I feel like he was a massive instigator on that 5-panel cap.
But also the Fargo snow hats, like the furry ones.
Yeah. Well, like, the red cap, Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit with the red cap backwards.
Yeah.
The new eras. Yeah.
Classic kind of, like, you just know red cap. It's Fred Durst. Like, talks about it in heaps of his songs.
Yeah.
I think even when people are dissing him, they're talking about it.
Yeah.
Jenko jeans, which, have you heard of that? I've actually heard of them for a long time because I'm as I've spoken about before, a Silent Bob fan.
Yeah.
And he wore those like, they're like super baggy.
Big baggy, yeah.
The big baggies. And I think it's like Jenko is the brand. Because I was like looking for those like 3/4 jeans that are just way too baggy.
Yeah.
Like a jorts or something, and it's just ridiculous like how baggy they are. I didn't find them. Probably good. Should not have worn them. But that stylization, all that stuff, like, should always be like it's always a progressive thing too. I don't think this is like anything that you necessarily like lock in on.
No.
But it's definitely cool, definitely important. Like, from the beginning, as we all know, like, I know, like, you can kind of spot like musicians and rock stars kind of walking down the street. And you're like, there's something different about this person. Like, the way they're holding themselves, like how they're dressed. You're like, this is a cool person.
They always try and be unique in some kind of way.
Yeah.
Whether it is the haircut or the style or the
jewelry,
makeup.
Yeah, exactly. I remember meeting the Riot. And they came to my like suburban house. 3 like 6'4" dudes, like head to toe, black leather, jackets, earrings, like rings on every finger. Those like when those cool kind of flat square sunnies kind of came out.
Right.
Those like
the welding glasses.
Yeah, the real flat ones. Yeah, and everyone got amongst them. And it was just like such an odd scene, like seeing these dudes walking down suburban Chermside, probably in summer. Anyway, but you could spot them a mile away, and I think it's cool. It's important. Amy Shark's like another like one that comes to mind. Always, she's always in that Adidas. She's got the top knot hair.
Yeah, the top knot thingy. And
yeah. But it's such a signature move. Like, she rarely is kind of seen without it. I can't even think of one time I've seen her without the hair bun in the top. When we're talking about it now, you know, like if there's anything that you can do that kind of makes something about your music a little bit more memorable when it comes to branding.
It's not just a visual sense either. It can be within the music, like if there's signature kind of sounds that you're constantly using, like for lack of a better example, Mars Volta, you know, I love their sound.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's chaotic psych rock into like Latin rhythms.
Yeah.
Or like, here's another example. King Gizzard, because they're top of mind, you know, it's heavy guitar music, but like time signatures that shift constantly, and
they got that odd guitar as well that had the microtonal stuff going on, which like became a part of like obviously their sound, but then they named an album after it.
Yeah, the microtonal banana, or whatever it was.
Plenty of bands like, and again, like whether they're aware of this or not,
you
know, sometimes I think people are aware of it, sometimes they're not, and it does become like a signature thing and a branding part. Kings of Leon is another one. Like, you'll notice a bunch of their songs like use the same chord shapes.
Yeah.
So whether or not like whoever's writing the music is just like, that's all I've got.
Yeah.
I think there's like,
but it can be that edge. Like it can totally be that edge, right? Like
the ear, it just goes like, that's your tone.
Yeah.
Like
this is what they like. This is where they're leaning.
Yeah.
You know.
And a lot of people are like, oh, well, I've written a song with like G, C, and D, so I'm going to use like C and A minor for this next track. And it's like, why don't you just do it the opposite? You know, like, there's so many King songs, they use this like E shape to the kind of open minor shape. And I reckon there's like albums of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
but then they'll use space. They use space as an instrument a lot, whereas Mars Volta don't.
No.
Like, they use dynamics, but they will never create space again. Like there's always tales of psychedelia or effects and shimmering kind of percussion sounds and shit that are just like spilling over into and setting up next sections.
Yeah.
But Kings of Leon, it's like, nah, let's go quiet for that one hit, you know.
Yeah, big kind of odd drumming.
Yeah.
Showing off drumming. Lizzie McAlpine too, I know we've briefly spoken about her, but someone was talking online about how she creates her space with her music, and it was a really interesting kind of analyzing of her stuff and stuff I've spoken about and we've spoken about with like songwriting, with like introducing a character in a space and then like an action. And, you know, her production is very much like we're in a bedroom, we're in a room together kind of feeling. Sometimes the songs like do branch out a little bit, but generally it's like we're in a room, you know, we're in a bedroom and having a conversation, and you know that becomes a big part of like the brand, all the way to bubblegum pop. You know, bubblegum pop, like they want it to be big and loud and punchy and all the right moments. Earworms and you know, there's all these sorts of things. I remember I didn't watch it, but I watched the trailer for the NSYNC documentary. Oh,
the boy band developer guy. Yeah, I watched that. Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
And
he was a huge scammer, but
but there was a producer that they interviewed on it or something, or a record label owner.
Yeah,
and I think it was like there was a word, I don't know if it was like now or something. But it was like really over pronunciated, and Britney was doing it, and like everyone was kind of doing like now kind of thing, and like the producer was like, more of this, we want more nows, like we want more of this, like one word. Yeah, right. And these are just
emphasis on those feelings in that word and how it's.
But they're amazing minds of like branding of what's popular, and it's like certain ways of saying certain words.
It's so funny you say that, because with Sam Osman's project, we've been referencing Blink-182.
Yeah.
You know, amongst other genres and heavier bands and stuff. But the last couple of tracks were like, we need a Blink-182, like pop.
Yeah.
Like uplifting, emotional, like, and it was like what's his name? He got Mark, Tom, and Travis
Yeah.
I think it's Tom, the high pitched singer.
Yeah.
His tone is like, that's
Yeah.
Blink to me.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
you know, that's his.
All that small thing.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Like all of that kind of pronunciation.
American pop, punk thing going on. And they love it. There's that shirt, have you seen that Blink shirt where it's like written phonetically?
No.
And it's that, I forget the line now, but it's like that classic Blink-182 line. And they've written it out phonetically, and it as you read it, you're like, yeah, I get it.
Right, I see.
But it's so like well branded and so well like recognizable.
And then you find yourself starting, like, this is what a good brand is, right? It's like you start bleeding what they are feeding you. So it's like his tonalities, that's how you sing those songs.
Yeah.
That's what we are leaning into for these next projects. We're like, let's sing it this way.
Yeah.
The Blink brand.
Yeah. I guarantee too, when people come to a show, like if they were like, oh, what did you do on the weekend? Oh, I saw this great band. What were they like? Like they were kind of like rock music. I don't really know. They were good though. But if they're like, man, they dressed awesome. Like he had this like crazy hat with a little helicopter on top of it. And it was like, and then he had this voice that was just like undeniable.
Yeah.
Like, it's, you want people to be really divided with it too. Like some people are like, oh man, the voice was so annoying.
Yeah.
Because that means so many people are loving it and it's stuck in their ears. But I guarantee those are probably the first things people would walk away from a show sort of being like,
questioning whether they liked it or whether they didn't like it.
Yeah. They're not necessarily going to be like, oh yeah, like it was the new era of rock and roll, coming out of Sunshine Coast. It's like, oh man, like what he said, like in between songs, like again, that's another big part of branding too. Is like how do you hold yourself on stage?
Yeah,
your banter.
Yeah,
those types of things become a part of your branding. I know King's like he doesn't talk on stage. I don't think he does even still.
Yeah,
but that's a part of their thing. It becomes a part of like, oh, he said nothing on stage. He like barely said hello. He just played all the songs, and that was so sick. Like. People would lean into that as well.
It's like some people would be James Keenan, Tool, same thing.
Yeah, some people might go, well, he didn't say anything. I wanted him to like talk. I wanted like to hear what the songs are about. And it's like people are just talking. That's all that matters. Like they're talking about it. It's better than nothing.
Mm-hmm.
This obviously leads into like merchandise is got to be like a massive part of branding.
Yeah.
A big one that comes to mind is like Violent Soho, and they kind of came back to Australia from, they were a band a really long time, and had like redone Jesus Stole My Girlfriend like 2 or 3 times to get their production right or whatever, and Triple J picked them up, kind of probably one of the last bands to actually like see success off the back of Triple J.
Yeah.
But yeah, their shirts came out and it had that skull on it.
Yeah.
With the beanie, the hair, and then like weed leaves and 420 and joints and upside down crosses and all sorts of like visual things all over the top. Big Violent Soho written on it. That was, I guess, like their signature one. I know they had other ones where they redid like
Slush Puppies
and
all that.
Kind of redoing famous brands for their own style.
Yeah.
Big income maker for these bands. Really recognizable all the way to people probably just wanting to buy a Violent Soho shirt to wear one. There's that other brand you probably see a lot, that KSCY.
Kiss Chasey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a band.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, it is too. Yeah.
So Kiss Chasey was a band, and I'm pretty sure is now like solely a merchandise.
No way.
Company, yeah.
Is that a direct link to the band though?
I could be totally wrong, but I feel like the band like kind of stopped, but like the merch was still so big with the Kiss Chasey thing.
See, that's like we've spoken about this before, where it's a new day and we can no longer really sell our music. Our music should sell itself. If you're playing it live, you're not like, buy my CDs or buy my records. And it's like, rather than trying to pitch people to go and stream your music because there's just no return on investment in that. You're better off pitching your merchandise or
100%.
pitching something else about your brand. Like, we're putting a show on, we're putting a mini festival on because that's what we are about. Or we just made a limited run of new shirts, you know, like the return on investment for a brand.
I actually don't know if it is from that. It doesn't directly say.
Google
online.
doesn't know either.
Well, that's what I just Googled it to like see if it had started from the band or not. I just feel like it. But Kiss Chasey is a.
Yeah. It's quite a unique name.
Yeah, but at the same time, it was like it's like a thing that kids did when they were younger, or whatever. Like catching. We did Catch and Kiss though.
Yeah.
I just remember that as a kid, not Kiss Chasey.
Yeah.
That was like the American version of it. But I remember Kiss Chasey the band.
I remember
Christian
the band. Yeah.
Yeah, really cool band.
But yeah, if you can get to a point where, like Violent Soho or Dune Rats, or for, like, let's just say Kiss Chasey are a merch line now and not an actual band anymore. If you can get to a point where your merchandise is funding your project, like you're living the dream.
Yeah, Wu-Tang talk about that in their documentary.
Yeah.
Where the guy was like, he's such like a funny, like, cool, like hip hop dude, and he's like, yeah, like first year and after that record came, we sold like $4 million worth of merchandise.
It's crazy, dude.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And I think like they had, you know, made sure to like have it separate to any labels. I know Wu-Tang had like the craziest label deals like ever. Like they were all signed as individuals and all had different deals and different things like that. But yeah, their merchandise line was just massive, even, and just always sold out everything. Which I think too, I don't know if they owned it or whatever, but like you had FUBU and Dada.
Yeah.
I think, and they kind of all had this very similar aesthetic to it. I remember
maybe they were the personal.
Yeah, who knows? Like if they were affiliated or connected or something. But yeah, Wu-Tang, massive. That big W, like so recognizable. Japanese kind of inspired name, obviously,
Kung
as
Fu.
well as the branding as well. I remember my friend got me on like grade 7, like this. It was like a zip up shirt, like half black, half blue, with like this giant W
like,
on the back.
Like silky jersey material.
And it was like zip up there at the front. So this zipper thing. Like,
wow.
Nothing else.
I used to have a pair of FUBU runners, like sneakers. They were pretty cool.
Yeah. All that stuff's like vintage now.
I know. I wish I still had them. They'd be worth a fortune.
Yeah. But yeah, massive part of people's like income. Yeah. And so never be afraid to like. Yeah. Feel like, you know, that's where all your income's coming from. But that's cool. It's just, again, it's just all starts with the brand. All starts with the name. You know, it's how you grow from there, how you hold yourself, what you're wearing. Even like, I doubt Supreme would have been as popular if it wasn't for artists like Odd Future. You know, I'd say like the rise of Odd Future and L Sweatshirt wearing that stuff. Like, could be wrong, and Supreme might have gone on to do cool things anyway. But I reckon it definitely like amped them up a bit.
Those things are huge because, like the most classic example I can think of is Run DMC. With the song, something. Like in my Adidas or in my Adidas. I think when there's a documentary out there, I can't remember what the name of it was, but there's a moment in it where they talk about singing that song, holding the shoe up on stage in front of like 50,000 people, and then Adidas sales just crank through the roof. So that's a different way of looking at a branding. Like that's like a artist representing a brand. You know, but it can coincide. Like endorsements can come from that, or say if you're closely connected to another business. Like what's an example? If you're Ziggy Alberts and you surf like Ziggy does, you could have a surfboard range, designed for you, like semi-designed by Ziggy himself, because he's quite a professional surfer, you know. So
yeah, so people want to listen to the music and get the board, even
like
if
the
it's
collaboration between brands.
Yeah.
You know, like I think that's like a pinnacle to get to.
100%. But a lot of them, like Britney Spears and that, like I've heard that they made more money from their perfume than they did from like their music careers.
Yeah.
So it's like by the time like Britney Spears, which
that's why all these
smelled that perfume, that's for sure.
The Bank nightclub in Townsville. Yeah.
100%. Same with Beyonce. Like, a lot of them are making money from these other areas. Beats by Dre.
Yeah. All the NFL stars, they don't make shit on the off seasons. So they have to do endorsements.
Yeah.
They have to go and cross promote brands and collaborate in that sense. So that's why you see them in commercials and in.
Well, if you look at the skating community as well, like they're not making money until, if anyone's played the game too, like it actually says it, like you don't make money until you've got like a signature shoe. Yeah. Or a deck, that you can sell with your name on it. Yeah. And of course it's a collaboration with Element or whoever you sign to. Mm-hmm. But they want to be pushing that product. Yeah. And the way that, they're not necessarily like getting paid to skate in competitions. Yeah. If they are, it's probably not huge. Yeah. But again, in those like communities, it's like really not like looked down upon. It's almost expected. Yeah. Whereas musicians, it's like, you shouldn't be like flogging t-shirts. It's like, well, yeah, this is how you make money.
It's such a foreign concept for a musician because you're there to play music. You're there to sell your music. You're there. It's your art. Yeah. But at the end of the, we don't sell records anymore. Like we can still print a record and sell a physical.
It's still a merch item.
It's a merch item. Yeah. But the return on the investment, is not even comparable to just like printing a t-shirt and selling that at a show.
If you can print a t-shirt for $10, if you're lucky, or 15, and you can sell it for 50 or 55. Yeah. And you're making $40, you sell 10 of them in a night. Like if you've only played to 100 people and 10 of them buy a shirt, $400 right there. Mm-hmm. It's made a lot of that trip or that show worthwhile. Yeah. And just keep it growing, and it's like, as obviously the audience gets bigger and your shows get bigger, you're going to sell more merch. But even still, on a really, really small scale of only 10 shirts, you can still make a few $100, mm-hmm. which is great. You do that twice a week, 3 times a week. Mm-hmm. You're on your way to a decent income.
It can solidify your branding. Like you're creating art around your branding. Yeah. And I think we've spoken before about if you're a singer-songwriter using your name, this is my opinion, don't put your name on a shirt if you're using your own name. If you're creating an artist name or a brand name, that's far more viable, but make it around the art and not necessarily the name itself. You'll sell art quicker than you'll sell a name, I think.
Yeah, I think people are less inclined to kind of put a name on themselves. Yes. Than they are a brand or a... Yeah. Yeah. And again, if your band name is a name, Lorna Jane is a name, but it's a brand. Yes. People are happy to wear that stuff, but...
But it also doesn't forward face with Lorna Jane. It's like a subliminal little logo somewhere. That's what I mean. You can put your name on it, but just don't make it the most important thing on the piece of clothing. Make it about the artwork. Make it about the single that you're releasing or the album or the tour.
Heaps of options.
And this is another trial and error. This is another... you're probably not going to sell your first 50 shirts too fast. I definitely didn't. I hung on to my first 50 shirts for 8 months, 9 months, before I printed my next lot. And now I'm slowly, continually turning over different products and trialing different things and making more unique things that, one-off items and things like that where it's a bit more playful for me. It keeps me interested. It also adds to my branding of I'm not just a a music producer or an artist or an engineer. Like I like fashion, you know, and I kind of show that with how I'm putting these ideas out there.
Yeah.
And how I wear it, how you're wearing my shirt today. Like,
that's right. I'm repping it all day.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that,
it's
bro.
a good shirt. It's
Yeah.
good cotton.
It's cotton, you know, cotton.
Print on cotton.
Print on cotton.
Don't print on spandex. You know,
If you're into mankinis, make your mankini.
I remember, I think it was Tyler, the creator, was talking about like weird merch items he made, which was like pea trough lollies with his face on it, bath bags, like airplane bath bags.
Oh,
yeah,
dude,
like throw
genius.
up in an Odd Future bath bag. Yeah, there's a lot of like weird, cool merch items that you could sell. Yeah, underwear with your face on it.
I got another one. This is for the video podcast.
Is this a merch item?
This is a merch item.
So in the hand here, Steve is holding a sweet notebook.
It's a notebook, okay? It's got one of my single artworks on there. And because I work with artists in the studio that need notebooks,
super handy.
I'm filling a void.
And again, like these could just be things like if someone doesn't have like $50 for a t-shirt, maybe they got $10 for a notebook. Or
it's also a really easy thing to give away.
Yeah.
You know, like if I have a client, I'd be like, here, use this.
Yeah.
And they've constantly got my brand in their hands while they're working, which is staying top of mind.
Obviously the other merch and stuff items like pins, classic, easy, kind of cheap one. Again, like you want stuff that people can buy that, you know, at every price point.
Yeah.
You know, not everyone has $50 for a t-shirt, so
but they won't blink giving a $5 note to you. You know, like anything. Fill everything from $1 to $1,000. You know.
Make your brand cool. Make your band cool.
Exactly. We should end it there. Let's kill it there. That was the best.
Very good. Reach out to us if you have any comments, questions about this sort of stuff. Leave a comment. If we feel like we've missed anything.
I'm sure we'll do a similar episode again. Like we're just going to keep talking about this stuff and trying to make you guys evolve and make ourselves evolve.
Yeah. And tune in next week for the celebratory 21st birthday of Rainbows on Wax. And by 21st birthday, 21st episode. Not 21 years.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Rainbow.